series.
And that's why no matter who we lose, and we are going to be
Pat
losing
McCaw.
at least one of Serge, Gasol, or Fred. At least
Well,
one. Probably more than one.
Well, let's ask us right now. Like out of those three, who, if
Keep
you have to
Serge.
pick, who's not back?
Oh, Gasol.
For sure. I think Gasol comes back.
No.
There's no way.
You don't think he comes back? Because I don't think he's gonna.
Unless he comes back on like a very cheap, like short-term deal.
Do you think he's getting more than like $4 or $5 million next year?
Man, the NBA, like, there's these bad teams will pay guys a lot of money.
Is Marc Gasol gonna want to do that though?
Maybe he'll go back to Memphis.
That's the only. Yeah, I could see that. But like, do you think he's gonna want to go? Like, he's not gonna want to go play for the Knicks. I don't think. Maybe if they give him like 20 million.
Maybe a team like the Lakers or something signs him as a guy who comes off the
Yeah,
bench.
the Lakers is a good
I could
call.
see
too.
Memphis happening go play with Ja.
Yeah.
Well, he's still like that's like where he went to high school. Like
Yeah,
that's his hometown, right?
Memphis could make sense.
because he came over when Powell was playing there. So
I think you have to sign Serge. Serge had the best year of his of his career.
he's
So
gonna be expensive.
They have.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna be? I don't even think.
I think after that playoffs,
Yeah, I think like he'll
he's
probably
their
get.
second best player.
I think he'll probably get $15 million a year.
Yeah.
That's probably. But like the same. So they have about $44 million under the luxury tax when you look at it for next year, and that like I don't think they're gonna want to go too high into that.
But are you saying sign Serge to a 1-year deal?
Yeah, I would.
Because they want to keep the books clean.
Yeah,
after next year, right?
And like I think Serge
and
is
Fred,
a guy.
you're not like if you're signing Fred, it's probably longer than a 1-year deal.
The-
I don't know if you want to give two of those guys more than one.
The one thing I can see with Serge, the team that kind of scares me for him is the Pelicans. That's kind of a team where I could see him being a bit of a fit with
Little veteran
Gasol,
presence.
Marc Gasol too, actually with them. Just like a veteran big who can space the floor for
basically like he would replace Derek Favors.
yeah, and let Zion work.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So those would be the two teams that kind of scare, are the one team that scares me for those two guys. But I don't think Serge is going to get a ton of money unless like.
Do you want to hear my hot take for the Pelicans?
Yeah, go for it.
I think Ingram's going to be better than Zion next year. I do. He was like every game I watched of the Pelicans, he was just dominating.
Yeah.
Like he's sick.
But-
Like I mean, obviously, like that's why it's a hot take, guys.
I think like he might score.
Sorry, I
more
interrupted.
He might
you.
score
That's
more
okay.
points.
It just kind of came to me.
But I think Zion would do other things.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like-
we'll see.
Like I think
That's my hot take. That's why it's a hot take.
Like if Zion can turn into like, I think Zion has the potential to be like a really good defensive player, where I don't think Brandon Ingram does. But Brandon Ingram, I went to a game and he got 50 points, so I know how sick he is.
yeah, he's very good.
Him and Donovan Mitchell had a battle, like a Murray Mitchell like battle.
My I'm trying like when you look at next year, I think I would say Fred is back because like
Yeah.
yeah, because I think the Raps
I don't feel good
he'll
about Fred.
he will allow. I think like if the Knicks are going to pay him $30 million a year and the Raps pay him 25, like what do you think he's going to take?
I don't know. $5 million is a lot of money.
So
It is, but
okay.
like I don't know. Like
This
at that
is-
point, like do you want to go slum it out with the Knicks and because he is never going to be. He'll never be loved anywhere the way he is loved here. I don't think.
He has a title though. Already, he's
Yeah.
got the title.
You're right.
Do you think he goes like? I mean, I'm just being devil's advocate.
No, I know what you're saying, and I guess like
the Knicks are always like you play in Madison Square Garden, like that's always a. I know the team is like the ownership is a shit show, but I think that's always a pretty enticing. Like you go
course.
go live in New York City, like you're playing in MSG every night.
the Bulls. Maybe he goes back home too.
Yeah,
He's got a young family. Maybe I mean I think they're too young to have started school, so that wouldn't really apply.
I think that whole thing with.
but I think the fact that I do think like the fact that his kids are Canadian citizens like definitely doesn't hurt his chances of just wanting to stay here, maybe for a little bit less money.
and they do have the connection with this city because Fred.
Well, you have the
specifically.
connection with a guy who just took a chance on you too, like
And
you were
Masai, yeah.
undrafted, right? But so here's talking about Fred. This is a breakdown. Blake Murphy on The Athletic. So if the cap stays the same, which a lot of people think it might, the Raptors to sign a max guy, 30% max guy, which, as he says in the article, like I'm just gonna pull the name Giannis Antetokounmpo out of a hat. I don't know. I mean, they would need $33 million.
Okay.
So that would mean if the cap is flat, they'd have room. Fred would be able to make 11. If you get rid of Norm, that goes up to 21. If the cap goes up to 120, which is probably the highest that Blake is estimating it could go up, you'd have the 30% max would be 36 mil. Fred with Norm still there, you could sign him to 18. If you got rid of Norm, you could sign Fred to 29, which that would definitely work. If the cap stays flat, you're in a situation where like you re-sign Fred, it's pretty tight. Now, you could just say, let's just sign Fred and we'll worry about that when we get to it.
Because I think
That's probably what I would do. I don't think it makes sense to like not sign guys now with the potential that you may get a max guy in 2021. There's no guarantee unless Masai thinks there is.
I think in the NBA it's pretty easy to get out of contracts. I think, like especially like if next year the Raptors are in a position where they're not where they want to be, I guess you could move Fred at the deadline and get an expiring contract back and a couple of picks or something. I don't think in this situation bringing guys back is a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you'll find a way to make the money work. You could there's so many options. You could do sign and trades. There's a whole bunch of things like that.
You have to extend Anunoby too, though. That's another thing.
Yeah.
So, like.
Yeah, he's a key piece if we're.
And I think he's in no like you're extending him.
Yes. And you'll be
that's
pretty
a no doubter.
You'll be pretty vulnerable too, I think, to an offer sheet.
And I think and I think next year his value's only going to extend him like now. His value's only going to.
Well, I don't know if you saw the thing that there's the report that Bam Adebayo is reportedly going to wait on an extension, so his salary won't kick in. There's like a report that he's willing to do that to wait until they sign Giannis and then he signs his extension.
Right.
So then they'll have all that cap space, and then they can sign him to his extension and go over. It's kind of like
okay.
Fight.